Another shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Another shot is gonna hit you with a mind overloading on it. And the bar is always open with no inhibitions. Another shot will leave your sensories twitching. Just remember everything we say is just our opinion. But then again, it might be the alcohol talking. It might be the alcohol talking. Let's go.
Welcome to Another Shot Podcast, where our opinions might be real, or it could just be the liquor talking. Sit back and enjoy another shot.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Another Shot Wednesday night open bar. See, I got it right this time. This is our open talk Wednesday night. It's the middle of the week, so don't be surprised if at all we start off a little slow. But yes, Miss Kitty Cat is on the ball. The one thing we have not been doing is on our open talk night might help to drop the link. So all you got to do is check out the messages, guys. You will see the link. Click on the link. We can join you on screen, or you can join us on screen, and we'll get some dialogue going. But one of the best ways to truly get started, I love being able to pour Yuengling in my Yuengling glass. The only problem is Kitty Cat. Right now, I do not have my Oktoberfest, and I'm already starting to fiend for it. But it's not just the Yuengling Oktoberfest I like. It's that time of the year where I like to sample all of them, but 9 times out of 10, guys, if you're in the bar at this time of year, you're going to find Yuengling Oktoberfest and you're going to find Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Let the battle begin. King Cats, I see the grin on your face. King Cat's not a beer drinker, but I did find one she might be able to tolerate. But we will talk about that later. I still want to see you try our apple pie a la mode. I was thinking, what if we call it the fall harvester? Something hard. Because I got to thinking about it. Like, we nicknamed that one a la mode, which you're right. It tastes like apple pie with ice cream on top. But then I'm like, the Irish Car Bomb tastes like a fizzy chocolate milk. And it's got this hard name. And I'm thinking that particular drink that I've created can knock you on your ass just as well. It's the stupid shit that goes through my head sometimes when there's nothing else to do. One for the doctor, folks. So, I actually had a request today on a topic of subject. Hopefully, these knuckleheads will be popping in here at any point. So, September 1st rolled around. I don't know whose idea it was at first. we ended up doing we've been watching like not exactly horror movies. Now the first day we watched like The Nun 2. When it's me and my daughter, I try to pick stuff that's not going to be over the top. The Nun pushes it just a little bit, but not. She absolutely loves paranormal movies. Then of course yesterday I had to. She got the biggest kick out of Death Becomes Her. With Goldie Hawn, Meryl Streep, Isabella Rossellini, Bruce Willis. Would you classify that as a Halloween movie? Maybe-ish. I mean, they take a potion. They're both aging. They take a potion, makes them look amazing.
What's the old movie with Cher and Jack Nicholson?
The Witches of Eastwick.
Yes, that's another one that's really good.
Another one. How about this? Witches. Remember that one with Angelica Houston? It's a witches' coven. They end up. They have like a gathering at this hotel, and they come up with this little potion that turns children into mice. So they talk this one boy into it,
Oh, yeah.
and then they did a reboot, which was absolutely horrible. Anne Hathaway made a good witch. Trust me. I mean, she's good at just about everything she does, as spacey as she is. But it wasn't as good as the original. And that was the topic of today for some reason. We had an older gentleman come in. I'd say I think he said he was a 70s child. He was born in the 70s. So he's just not far off. But me and Hooper were making comments about, he thinks that the 90s was another decade that revolutionized. I'm like, what? It brought in the Seattle wave, it brought in the grunge music, it became more melancholy and, kind of, but then towards the middle, then you get, it starts picking back up. Like the beginning of the 90s really looked like it was going to be. The 80s was the last decade to really change stuff. And 40 years later, look at the movies that they're rebooting, all from the 80s. Most of them from the 80s.
You seen the movie Ouija Board?
I have.
That wouldn't be one I would suggest to watch with your daughter. But they start till she gets a little older.
There's a lot. Paranormal is going strong. For a while, it looked like the zombies were going to make a big comeback, especially since The Walking Dead. And that series, at some point, it needs to, no pun intended, it just needs to die a natural death. There's only so much more you guys can do. It's almost like each episode or each side story, whatever comes up, is just repeating itself.
The kids had me watch something. It was a Disney. It was zombies.
Are they singing and dancing?
Yes.
Kaylin loves it. I'm not gonna lie, I get a kick out of
They're
it.
in like high school.
Yes.
Yes.
They
I
just
don't
came
remember
out
what
with
it
a
is.
fourth one recently. Like the very first one was just, the zombies, they found a way to control zombies. And they were able to integrate them into society. They can walk, talk, normal, everything's cool. The second one, they introduced werewolves into the mix. The third one, they introduced aliens. So now you have zombies, werewolves, and aliens. Guess what the fourth one brings in? You might as well hit all four corners, right? Werewolves, zombies, aliens, and vampires. I'm not opposed to those sort of things. I mean, I like that they take something scary and kind of put a fun little twist on it. But the singing and dancing after so long, even my daughter's kind of like, it's just one giant musical now. So again, another series that started off real good, looked like it was getting better, and then it didn't take long for it to kind of just. But
Like High School Musical.
oh, that is scary. I've never actually watched High School Musical, but I've seen little clips of it, and I'm not. I can't say I'm a big fan.
I was okay with the first one. Second one, it was just, it just, again, you have to like musicals.
And I hate to say it, I'm not opposed to it. Like my music, I'm a fan of all music. I'm a fan of movies. Now, do I have favorites? Yes. I lean more towards the horror movies. It's a fine line between, I'm a guy, so it's a fine line between action and horror.
I just know, when my kids were younger, my TV literally lived on the Disney Channel.
Shit, I remember when it was hard as hell to get the Disney Channel. There was a lot of shows I wish I could have watched growing up. There was he was a kid martial artist. He was huge in the 80s. Ernie Reyes Jr. And he was in actually you would have seen him in Red Sonja, if you remember that movie at all. It was kind of a somewhat spin-off of Conan. No? So it had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brigitte Fonda, who was another 80s icon before she went off yeah, everybody knows her today as the woman that, drove Flavor Flav batshit crazy. They were actually a couple for a while. He was also in a movie called The Last Dragon. I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. I don't like using the word blaxploitation, but it's actually referred to that. They were in Harlem, and obviously, he's a black kid, and he was taking martial arts, and he idolized Bruce Lee, had a karate school. It's actually a good movie. Cheesy as all hell, but a good movie. But Ernie Reyes Jr. was in that one. Then he grew up a little bit, and he was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. Point being, there was a show, and it was on the Disney Channel, called Sidekicks, where he was the adopted son of a police detective.
I don't think I've seen that. That sounds familiar.
The pilot they did have on regular TV. And then, like I said, but back then there was also, who knew the Mickey Mouse Club was still a thing until, hey, Britney Spears, she was part of the Mickey Mouse Club, but Christina Aguilera, they were part of the same club at the same time. I think Justin Timberlake might have been a part of it too, But run-ons. Some of them, like Halloween. I think we're up to 20 on that one. The same thing happened with Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then today we had the Saw movies.
Corn.
Huh?
Corn. Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn. Oh God. Some movies just need to be left alone. I liked, Friday the 13th kind of, at least they changed it up as it went along. Children of the Corn was the same fucking movie every time with different characters.
I'm not a big horror movie person. There's specific ones growing up. Poltergeist.
I like Poltergeist. They're here.
That one sticks in my brain. It is one of the biggest
Aliens is a fun one. It
Okay.
it toes the line between horror and
Fly.
sci-fi. Ooh. The one thing I can say about The Fly, the original was good with Vincent Price, which knowing what I know now, I'd have probably said this back then. It's Vincent fucking Price. Leave it alone. That man he wasn't just horror movie royalty. Like, I mean, I think everything that man touched in horror turned to gold. All the way up until Edward Scissorhands, and that was his last known film. He had a very small part in it, and then he died right after.
Exorcist.
The first one was good. The second one got really weird. I like what they did with the third one. They kind of respun it. They brought back it's the wind. I don't want to pick too much. The first two both had Reggie, played by Linda Blair. But they kind of sexualized her a little bit in the second one. You know, she was older, and then she did get repossessed and everything. But at that point in time was where she started doing other movies that were a little bit more. She was getting older. She was getting a little more risque. Much appreciated. The hand in the screen. Second one even had James Earl Jones, Darth Vader himself. You never know. It was the whispers in the wind. In case you guys are wondering, our boy Blue went and hooked us up with some food, so we're in the process of the boat. But the third one did not have Linda Blair. They brought back the priest from the first one and threw himself out of the window. So I like that little twist. And he wasn't possessed by a demon exactly. He was possessed by a serial killer. So it was almost a standalone if it wasn't for the fact that they brought back the original priest. Really enjoyed that one. Like I said, I bought all three. And then they had to turn around and they had to continue the story. Then they did the Origins. And I have not watched the newest one. I can't bring myself to do it. I should. But I don't want them to ruin it like a lot of movies they try to do continuations on today do. But like Freddy, it was weird how that one continued on. You know, you got a child killer. He comes back for revenge to kill the children of the people that lynched him. That, you know, they got him in the boiler room. But what made each one of those interesting was the fact that they kept up with what was popular at that time. So each director was able to take, you know, Freddie just got, I mean, but, you know, the only thing that got cheesy for me was the fact that he got cheesier as he went along. The kills started getting cheesier. Friday the 13th. A lot of people say, if you say, who was the killer in Friday the 13th? I'd say 99.9% of the people would say
Right.
Mouthful of it. Look at that brick. Should be the cinder block. No, the original killer in the first one, everybody thought it was Jason, but it was his mom. And at the very end, you know, he popped up out of the water. Was she dreaming? Was she not? That movie was insanely popular. Then they introduced Jason in the second one, but not with the hockey mask. He was running around with a potato sack on his head. It wasn't until the third one that they introduced the hockey mask. And then they also try to do, in a lot of movies back then, try to do this 3D.
They keep drawing it out and ended up being Jamie Lee Curtis is his sister.
That was Halloween.
See, I get confused because I don't watch them. Okay.
The fourth one was supposed to be the final one. Hence, it's in the title, the final chapter. It was so popular, they brought it back. And this is what's neat. They were able to bring it back again. Everybody's like, oh, it's Jason, it's Jason. Turns out it wasn't Jason. It was a copycat. But it was part 4, 5, and 6 that had the character of Tommy Jarvis in it. And then beginning of 6 is they affectionately refer to him as Zombie Jason at this point. He gets dug back up, he gets resurrected, and thus begins the decaying Jason. So what do you do from 6? All right, they did stop him. They were able to, you know, Tommy got the final DP. So how do they bring him back? Oh, let's bring him back and throw him up against a girl that she has telepathy. She can move things with her mind. Jason now has kind of a formidable opponent, but now it's starting to really teeter on that cheesy line. And then finally they did, the part 7 was originally supposed to be Freddy versus Jason. And you got two icons that, you know, are in their prime. But they couldn't finalize it with New Line, Paramount. So they said, what can we do now? Oh, let's take them out of Crystal Lake. And this is where it really starts getting stupid. As it turns out, Crystal Lake is actually a sound that attaches to the ocean. Yeah. Then it gets dumb. They don't call them Friday the 13th after that. New Line purchases the rights to Jason. So then you get Jason Goes to Hell. Now you get into the, kind of like how Freddy's, this mystical, it starts getting weird. Basically, they blow up Jason. He's in a whole bunch of pieces. There's nothing left of Jason. How do they bring him back? They have some weird scene where the coroner finds Jason's heart still beating, and he decides this is a good idea to basically eat part of the heart. Now the spirit of Jason is in him. Yeah, see where I'm going?
Like Chucky.
Kind of.
And the Bride of Chucky. And Chucky. And Chucky. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you go from Child's Play 1, 2, and 3
Oh, did you see the newest?
to yeah, it was horrible. AI.
They just announced Chucky versus Annabelle.
At least they're coming up with something original. Also, I can give that one. But like I said, I mean, that's what's different about the Friday the 13th series as opposed to a lot of the other ones, because they found a way to make it different. After Jason Goes to Hell, guess what we're going to do? Well, let's put him in space. We're going to give a little, oh, wait, he's got regenerative products. We're going to keep him, chained up and everything. We want to study him some more. He gets out. They get cryo freeze.
his time lapse.
Sure. So Jason X, yes, was Jason, basically Jason in space. You get Cyborg Jason, which makes it really interesting. The acting's horrible. The kills are mediocre at best. After that, it was Freddy versus Jason, and they decided against bringing Kane Hodder back, who was the most popular Jason. He's the only one that was the reoccurring, he was in 7, 8, Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X. And then they decided they wanted somebody bigger for Jason Goes to Hell. They bring in Ken Kurtzinger, which really upset a lot of fans. And no, the movie was not that great. Shocker, right? So what do we do after that?
There is such a thing as called overkill.
No pun intended. So where do you go from there? Okay, so they found a way to keep each one different from the other. So what do you do after he's in space? Where do you go from there? Jason versus Freddy. It finally happens. Still popular, right? What do you do now? What do you do in the mid 2000s to, when you run out of ideas? Reboot it. And basically you take 1 through 4 and you roll them all into one.
That need to make new birds. No, they don't.
But that's a whole nother topic right there. See, there's Stephen King. Huh?
Albert Hitchcock.
Still,
Albert Hitchcock.
these guys that are just Albert. Jesus, that was horrible. Alfred Hitchcock. Oh, yeah, cheers, everybody. The Twilight Zone. Alfred Hitchcock. These are all stuff that was, I think, late 60s, early 70s. Maybe even further back because, those all started off in black and white. And then, they had to reboot. And they brought back the Twilight Zone in the 80s. They brought back some of the Alfred Hitchcocks. Suspense. Then started the whole, you got the Twilight Zone, then you got Tales from the Dark Side, which was Romero hooking up with Stephen King and saying, what can we do? Awesome stuff. Then a bunch of other things, like there was a TV show called Monsters. Kaylin actually likes that one. I don't know. People just like to be scared, honestly. Oh, why else would you watch a horror movie? They're still just as popular today as they were way back then.
I haven't heard enough. I'm keeping my heart in rhythm now. I don't need more.
So on that note, let's go ahead and take our mid-show break. And when we come back, we shall continue the conversation. Why do people like horror movies? Oh, before we go, I did have one that was my favorite that you will find on HBO. But for some reason, I don't have it on HBO Max right now. I actually have this entire series. Guys, when we come back, here's a small hint. You're right on top of it. What do we got to give these guys? What do we want to listen to? Why the hell not? This is Jessica Ripple with Prince of Darkness, Shine On, Ozzy's tribute. Guys, we'll be right back.
From Birmingham streets to the world stage light, you howled at the moon in the dead of night. A madman with vision, a rebel so raw. You broke every rule, yet we watched it all. The voice of Black Sabbath, the Godfather's flame. You gave metal a heart and the wildest name. Through shadows and storms, you still took the crown. Now the world feels quiet since you're not. Shine on, Prince of Darkness, your echo remains in every riff and every scream that still shakes our veins. You walk through the fire, live loud and unchained. Ozzy, you're a legend, and the world won't be the same. The bat, the dove, the cross you wore, a soul both haunted and adored. With Sharon by your side through chaos and fame, you never let the madness take your name. From crazy train rides to no more tears, you gave us the soundtrack for all of our years. The pain and the power in every song taught broken hearts how to stay strong. Shine on, Prince of Darkness, your echo remains in every riff and every scream that still shakes our veins. You walk through the fire, live loud and unchained. Ozzy, you're a legend, and the world won't be the same. Even angels in leather will bow down and cry as you fly through the heavens with fire in your eyes. The god of the underground, forever you'll be in the halls of Valhalla. You're finally free. Shine on, Prince of Darkness, up in the sky, where the stars play Sabbath and devils don't lie. You gave us your madness, your magic, your soul. Now the mic's gone silent, but your story's still told. So sleep now, dear Ozzy, your time here is done. But your music and mayhem will forever run. We'll ride the crazy train to the end of the line. Long live the legend, the madness, the shine.
Welcome back, guys. If you're just joining us, this is our Wednesday night open bar. And apparently it's our horror movie edition. Where the hell is everybody? I was told, oh yeah, we're gonna you're gonna talk scary movies. I'm on. Fun part is I don't get to pick on them tomorrow because guess what? I'm sure Zach's going to remember this here in about 30 minutes or so. Yeah. So the question was, why do you think people like scary movies so much if they don't want to be scared? Thoughts?
The adrenaline rush.
Ah,
Make their women color with them.
ah.
Or vice versa.
Maybe you like seeing other people scared. Sometimes people like, like I'm not gonna lie, I would love to sit down and watch a horror movie with Kat because I think she'd jump all over the damn place.
Especially birds.
Let's get off that one because there was a craze that went through for a while where it was just they didn't even have catchy names. You had the Birds, which was Alfred Hitchcock. You go into the 80s, you have Slugs, Frogs. I think today didn't they have one called Spiders.
That's one we should watch.
Oh,
Arachnophobia.
oh, there was that too. No,
Yeah,
it's
you're
not.
not watching. You're not getting me to watch that.
What, Arachnophobia?
Yeah, I won't watch that one.
I like it because there's a little bit of slapstick, which is why they had Jeff Daniels in it. Which people don't realize. That man could do drama just as good as he could do comedy. But I mean, that's one of those movies that really has it all. It has it. One of the people's biggest fears is spiders. And yes, 6ix9ine, we all know snakes.
What was that movie?
Snakes on an airplane.
Yeah, snakes on a plane.
Yeah, Snakes on a Plane.
I am sick and motherfucking tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. They wrote that line specifically because they were able to talk Samuel into going in. I mean, the movie was stupid. If it wasn't for Samuel, it wouldn't have done nearly as well. But I mean, there's so many different forms of horror movies.
Anaconda.
Yeah, there's that one. Jaws didn't exactly say, they probably could have just called it Shark if they really wanted to, but it doesn't have the same ring as Jaws. But the other one that was real big back then was splatter movies. You also had these Italian directors come in and take zombie movies and just make them as sexualized, as taboo as they could. Then there's the famous one that touched on so much, and I'll give you some background on this one. The actors, and it is one of the first found footage movies. I think it might actually be the original, but don't quote me on that one. The actors involved had to sign it was in their contract, they couldn't talk to anybody prior to release. And then there was even it was in the contract they had to wait a certain time after. And that was all the director's idea. And it went so far that people did actually believe they were watching a snuff film. They believed that these people were actually killed and dead.
Hey, Arliss.
How we doing, brother? It also was one of the first movies to really get like animal rights activists and PETA to put their imprint in Hollywood because it actually had the disemboweling of a live wombat, a live animal. Not just one, but two. There was sex. Yes, the R word was involved in that one. And it was about a group of college filmmakers that go into the jungle to film tribes in South America. The ones that are, Which sounds like something, they basically redid it today, and they called it the Green Inferno. Eli Roth is well known for his gore, his schlocky, just over the top. I mean, bear in mind, this is the guy that did Cabin Fever. He did Hostel. Trust me. This movie I'm talking about, though, at the end, they pissed off a tribe, and they feel, people actually thought that these guys were dead. The tribe turns on them, kills them, cannibalizes them, and it's brutal. It's nasty to watch. It's called Cannibal Holocaust. And for all you,
Was the first found tape horror movie.
Hooper, have you seen it? Then he must have seen it. It is very hard to watch because the reason they find it, I looked it up. Yeah. Hooper said that, guys, for all you listening. Hooper said he looked it up. I was actually telling him about it. I think it was either today or yesterday or something like that. But it's brutal. And you can actually get on YouTube and look up you can call it the final death scene. So the premise is a college professor goes to the Amazon to try and track down these missing filmmakers. And he comes across this tribe, and he realizes, hey, they know about 3 students that came through. Well, they didn't know them as students, but he goes to this tribe, and he did something that got in their favor, so they rewarded him by giving him a camera. And that's when he realized, hey, I'm on the right track. He goes to he actually goes to the tribe itself, their village, and that's where he finds their skeletal remains along with the rest of the camera stuff. So they go back, they watch the footage, and they decide in the end, after what they've seen because of what these kids did to provoke this tribe, they decide not to show it. It's better left unknown. So yeah, it's a very violent, very brutal movie. Yeah, it's one of those ones that even me, who's a seasoned veteran at this, was it does make you squeamish. Oh yeah, dude. Like I said, if you really want to, look it up on YouTube. You can actually find the final death scene, and it's how they did it. It was really good. Now, the reason, it got so bad that police were getting involved. They were talking about FBI investigation. They felt like they had enough evidence to say, hey, something's not right here. And then finally the actors had to come out and say, no, we're alive, we're here. But that director did his job. What's going on, Ninja?
He said hi to Arba, so he can say hi to us.
Yeah, well. That's what, yeah. Like all ninjas, he kind of crept up behind us there.
Would you classify Silence of the Lambs as a horror movie?
Well, I mean, it's got the suspense. You got not just one villain, you got multiple villains in that. Yeah. That's like asking me if Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I mean, Is Lethal Weapon the Christmas movie? No, honestly, I think it has enough to it that you can consider it a horror movie.
And there was another one I was just thinking of.
There was Along Came the Spider, which was also from a book. Morgan Freeman, Seven. That I would
Thank you.
I would definitely
That's what I was
classify
just
that one.
gonna
I mean,
ask.
it meets all the criteria. I mean, it's just. I mean, there was a lot of them back, in the mid '90s that do you or don't you? But yeah, I mean, I think it was dark, it was sinister. By far one of Anthony Hopkins' best roles, and I can honestly say I've never seen an Anthony Hopkins movie where he wasn't just phenomenal. And on a side note, Anthony Hopkins himself actually played Alfred Hitchcock and did a great job doing it. But yeah, I'd probably classify that one. But I did find something interesting happened, and it kind of made me rethink certain things. So me and Connor went to see Halloween 2. Actually, it would be Halloween Kills. We thought it was going to be the final one. And when we left, we actually took some of his friends with him. We took Carl, and I can't remember Carl's brother. Connor made an interesting statement after that movie. He said that wasn't scary at all. That was more like an action movie. So I can honestly say the second one was not suspenseful at all. I like what Halloween did with them. I love what Rob Zombie did. His retelling of Halloween. But being Rob Zombie, he took it that next level. He had to have, he kind of brought back what was the three things you always look for in a horror movie back in the day? You always knew you were going to see it. There were three things: blood, language, and my favorite,
Nudity.
yes. Blue Wave, what's going on, brother? So I felt like he did a great job with the first one. I liked how he did it. He gave a lot of backstory on how Michael Myers became Michael Myers. And then the second one, he had to be Rob Zombie, and he started getting really artsy about everything. It was, it became not so much suspenseful as it was melancholy. It still had kills, still had, your nudity, your language, but like even the ending was just, it was very weird. So when they come out with just returned from camping a couple of days ago, nice, where'd you go camping, brother? So they just called the first one Halloween. And basically what they did was they picked up where the very first one left off. But they kind of twisted it around just a little bit. Where at the end of the first one, he gets shot out the window and everything. In the original, when Loomis goes over the window, he finds Michael Myers is gone, which sets up for the rest of them. The second one was supposed to be the final one. What do we got? Let's see what Blue Waves got. Reed, Bingham State Park in Georgia. I did a bit on it. I will definitely look and check that out, brother. It's just that, to be fair, I haven't been keeping up with a lot as of late. We've been actually busy running like crazy. But, dude, I love camping. We were actually just talking about Friday the 13th, which is always out in the woods. Jason killed the campers. They took Halloween, twisted it a little bit. Instead of him getting up and walking away, they capture him. He gets shot. The police show up. He gets arrested. Goes into an asylum. Okay. And then he ends up breaking out. They turned it all around, though, to where Laurie Strode was not his daughter. Oh, yeah, they brought back Jamie Lee for the last three. But no, Jamie Lee is not his daughter. Hello, Miss Aunt Jen. Oop, what do we got? The guys in the band are friends of ours? Yes. If you're referring to the Southern Outlaws, they are very good friends of ours. If you're talking about Gary Burke, I mean, another friend of ours. So, I mean, yeah, what we got? Yes, hello, Aunt Jen. Good to see you, beautiful. So it was a standalone. Those three were a standalone. I kind of like how they did it. The second one brought back some of the originals. Well, only three originals from the first one. And then they finally did finish it off in the third one. It was finalized. You know, at this point, they never made it. He was still kind of superhuman, but at the same time, he's old. So when he walks, he walks really stiff. Yeah. Take it as you want, sweetie. By the third one, though, you find out that, they kind of twisted around. You find out that Jason was, sorry, I did it myself this time. Michael Myers wasn't doing all the killing himself. He actually had another protege. But I liked them, for the standalone that they were. But it was poorly, received, and that's just another series. And I hate to say it, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, all these movies they're talking about redoing again. Leave them be. At this point, there's not much more you can do with these. Sometimes movies are just best left, one, maybe two sequels, but when they start getting into these run-ons, Saw, Hostel, Children of the Corn, the big three, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Chucky. God, I mean, it's the same thing over and over and over again. You brought up Chucky. Chucky never once scared me. It's a fucking doll. I don't know how they made him out to be this. That was just one of those. I mean, then there was like you said, they did another Child's Play, and they pretty much demonized the AI.
Right, Chucky.
The seed of Chucky. How about this one? Leprechaun. The Irishman did not like the Leprechaun movies. I'll tell you right now. The first one, I got somewhat of a kick out of. But then the run-ons. Oh, my God. And guess what? They put him in space, too. So, I don't know. Really, Paranormal is almost the way to go, but they're having trouble trying to keep the Conjuring movies. The Last Rites is coming out. That's supposed to be the final one. Annabelle, The Nun. That series was becoming so fun, and it was part of the Conjuring, universe. We'll call it. Again, how about I just watched Final Destination Bloodline the other night?
All right. So
Yes,
Halloween was 1978.
it was.
I was a year old.
Nightmare on Elm Street was 80.
The Shining.
Four.
Shining was 1980.
That was a.
It. That's another one you will never see me watch. That was
Pennywise?
2017.
You.
Ugh,
Jesus.
Poltergeist was 1982. Hereditary. 2018. Mhm. This is one of my favorites.
What-
It's not really a horror, but it
Okay, so what? Before you continue, what are you looking up?
top horror movies.
Ah,
Misery.
loved it. Absolutely loved it. Kathy Bates' best work.
Yes.
Her and Steve Kahn. Oh my God, the hobbling scene. Everybody remembers the hobbling scene the most.
It was 1990. Nightmare on Elm Street came out in 84.
Friday the 13th, 1980.
Talk to Me. 2022.
Just recently came out and on Netflix. I have seen clips of it. It does actually look pretty good.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was
72.
originally in 74.
Ooh, close.
The Exorcist was 73. Barbarian, 2022.
I've tried very hard to watch that movie and just could not get into it.
Evil Dead, 81.
Ah, yes, the king of schlock himself, Bruce Campbell, filmed in Tennessee. I've actually been to the cabin site.
Get Out,
I wouldn't consider that one horror.
that was in 17. Jaws was originally in 75.
John,
I think this one's horror movie, either Scream.
Scream was horror. It would be considered. There's a slasher movie. It would be considered one.
96. Long Legs
Spider movie.
in 24.
Blue Wave says, I like the murder movies better than the horror movies, like in Cold Blood. Ugh. When you
Gremlin.
it is so hard to consider that. I mean, again, you got all the aspects. It meets all the criteria of a horror movie, but can you really consider that one horror?
It's just suspenseful.
It was hilarious. The only thing scary was the story that Phoebe Cates gives of her father dying.
There's one I completely forgot about. Omen.
Ah, Damien.
It was in 76. 2025. The Home. The Ritual.
That one had Anthony Hopkins in it as well. He was a
225 Forest Road.
can't say I know that one.
Opus. And The Monkey.
These are all newer ones.
All 2025.
I can't.
28 years later.
That is the newest one. It just came out. I think it was on HBO Max. It's either HBO Max or Paramount. Pick that one up.
Until Dawn. Ugly Stepsister.
See, when you got like movies that are like 2018, these newer ones, I don't know why they're wanting to classify these as, or put these in this list. When there's so many other iconics that you just named off.
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
87.
Vampires. You had the two Coreys. You had Kiefer Sutherland, Jamie Gertz.
There's another one I will not watch.
What's that?
Clown in a Cornfield. 2025.
You'd probably hate Killer Clowns from Outer Space then. But it's
Everything-
hilarious.
Everything with clowns.
It's schlocky. It's funny, I mean, when you
Carrie.
again, Stephen King. You could just about put every one of his movies.
Hellraiser.
What is it?
Hellraiser.
That's Clive Barker. And what the little side note on that one, Pinhead wasn't even supposed to be the main character. He just became so popular after the first two that they made him he was just a demon in the movie. And then
Go back really old.
Huh?
Go back really old. Rosemary's Baby.
Blue Wave said Carrie was good. Rosemary's Baby. Ooh. If I'm not mistaken, I think that one was an Alfred Hitchcock. That one, if I'm not mistaken, was that late 60s? That should have been 68 or 69. Oh, Jason, what's going on, brother? I mean, like I said, the movie, I mean, you might as well throw in there Santa Carla Died, The Exorcist. Yes. We touched on that a little while ago. I mean, there was 3 of them originally. The first 3, 1 and 3 I thought were good. The second one just
Written
was
and directed by Roman Polanski.
Rosemary's Baby. Yeah. That
Based
guy was.
on Ira Levin's 1967 novel.
Well, what's fun? You do know what makes Roman Polanski. There's 2 things that make him very popular. Everybody knows it. One is the fact that he actually had to leave the country for a while because he got in trouble for let's just call it some underage play. Blue Wave hit it next. He was what made him most famous though was he was the husband of actress Sharon Tate. Kitty Cat. Why do people know the name Sharon Tate?
Sure.
I'll give you a hint. It happened, if I'm not mistaken, Blue Wave, was it not 60? It was 1968, was it not? There it is. Sharon Tate was one of the victims of the Manson family when they did their little killing spree. She was also pregnant at the time. She was 8 or 9 months pregnant. And she was an up and coming actress. Was just in the wrong house at the wrong
She was
time.
8.5 months pregnant. They killed her inside her home with Polanski that she shared with Polanski.
Yes.
Yeah.
That another famous person that was killed during that was the heiress to the Folgers, as in the coffee family, Abigail Folgers.
You ever watched that?
I've watched them all. Helter Skelter.
Thank you.
I've read the book Helter Skelter, 1969. I was almost there. I was right on. I've actually read he did one. He never liked doing interviews. Everybody saw the Geraldo interview he did. But he did one prior to that with a gentleman who was an author. And he wrote the book, Manson in his own words. So Manson, how he grew up, how he got started, weird dude. But naturally he yeah. As expected, he still stands firm that he had nothing to do with it. He went along with one of them, but he basically was saying, you know what, you guys do what you think you need to do. But it has also come out that
Absolutely. What?
you think he was involved, you don't think he was involved.
That's pretty much what he's basically saying.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see where you're going with that. Yeah, he
He had no idea. He wasn't in control of any of them, but yet they all.
basically, yeah, he got made out to be more of a demon than what people. I mean, I don't know. And if you really want to get macabre about things, I can go and get my computer right now. I've got a flash drive that actually has his original recordings of songs he's done. He actually did put out a couple quote unquote albums. But yeah, I've actually got his music. So, on that note, folks, we've hit that time of the evening as Kitty Cat tries to sleep after some awesome talks of clowns and birds and spiders.
One on the shoulder.
You're the one going home with it, not me. Hey, Kitty Cat, we got a pull-out bed in there. I'll make breakfast in the morning. I'm off tomorrow. Hannibal Lecter. Actually, Kat came up with a good question a little while ago, and we'll ask the people in the audience before we leave. Would you classify the Silence of the Lambs? Yeah, Silence of the Lambs, but then again, you would have to throw Hannibal Rising, Red Dragon, anything and all things that had to do with Hannibal Lecter. Would you consider those horror movies? And I ask you guys out there. Something to ponder on. I want to say yes. Because it literally hits all the criteria. Your suspense, your violence, it makes you think. And honestly, Blue Wave said it best. He likes murder movies, not horror movies. So that would actually fall in line with that. 7 would be another one. Again, Along Came the Spider. And I keep saying spider in that one, but it was actually Morgan Freeman again happened to solve a murder. So he's a detective trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it might be somewhat of a sequel of 7. Something for you to look up. You might like it. Jason says yes. So, on that note, folks,
Throw another one out there. Black Widow.
I don't think I've heard of that one other than the Marvel movie.
It's an older. I'm an old school.
So am I.
It's an older. It's an older. It's
Yes,
a woman.
Red Dragon was phenomenal, Jason. I like it was the telling of how Hannibal Lecter got caught, and then how the same detective that captured him had to go in and ask him for help in solving a serial killer. Huh? No. Clarice came out in the second one. She was Silence of the Lambs. Hello, Clarice. Have the lambs stop crying, Clarice. Phenomenal movie. I could see them doing some more with that one. I think that one, yeah, like I said, they could do more with that one. Because that one kind of, at the end of Hannibal, he still gets away. So I can see them doing another one just to maybe finalize it. End the story of him and Clarice. On that note, guys, appreciate you guys all coming on. Peace, good night. Love you too, Jason. Want to thank Blue Wave for popping in here. Arliss, Ninja, all you guys. Hooper. I think Hooper might actually still be in here. Check us out tomorrow night for our Thirsty Thursday Thoughts and Shots edition. Spelled ADD, which is what Blue has all day long. We're going to be making our picks, finding out the tallies after last week. Real quick, because the game starts at 8 tomorrow, I'm just going to throw this out there. For those of you that are sports fans, every one of us has picked Philadelphia to win tomorrow night's season opener against the Dallas Cowboys. But we'll also be making our picks for this weekend's college football games, which should be interesting, and the rest of the NFL picks. Sunday night is our Sunday night weekend hangover. Monday night bartender. Guys, I always say it, always fun, always unpredictable. For those of you on TikTok, we are back. We came back on Monday night and had an absolute blast. I'm getting these words out of the way now. Shots, blast, twerk, lap dance. Let's just say them now. As you all know, we kind of got we went to TikTok jail for a week.
Nannered.
We got nannered, but we weren't the only ones. So tonight should very well be interesting, to say the least. Guys, there are good ships, there are wood ships, there are ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships, and may they always be. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, but always remember, everything we say on the show is just our opinion, but then again, kitty cat. You guys have a good night. Cheers.
Thank you for stopping in and listening to the Another Shot podcast. We shared some drinks, stories, and laughs. But it's time to say goodnight. Join us next time on Another Shot podcast.
If you're looking for a party, then man, have you found it? Now the shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Now the shot is gonna hit you with the mind overloaded. The bar is always open with no inhibitions. Another shot will leave your sensories twitching. Just remember, everything we say is just our opinion.